Hello, I'm Prathyush and today I want to talk to you about Viduthalai Part 1, directed and written by Vetrimaaran, starring Vijay Sethupathi and Soori. Over 5 minutes, a trembling long shot opens Viduthalai. A terrorist outfit, Makkal Padai or the People's Army, has bombed a train because the government is bringing mining corporations into the mountains to hack it for profits that never trickles down to the people whose land is hollowed out. This 5-minute shot takes us through the debris of the explosion an hour after it has taken place. The police are scurrying with evacuation still in progress. The politician has arrived, stretchers roving, the woman mourning, the men crippled. A journalist who begins photographing the tragedy ends up becoming one of the volunteers helping evacuate a child. All hands on deck. The camera loops into and out of compartments, smoothly sliding through the aisles and agitatedly shaking through, swirling through the scene, panning over conversations, sliding over heights, moving horizontally and vertically with just as much lubricated ease. The shot ends with a train compartment that is precariously dangling over the bridge, collapsing into the ground in slow motion. How do you know it is slow motion? This isn't apparent. You have to see the stretched motion of the people gathered around to figure. Such is the subtle slowing down of time. When we feel awe and when we feel terror, how different are these feelings? Both leave us in this asphyxiating, wide-eyed, submissive posture. Smartly then, writer and director Vetrimaaran evokes awe in us while depicting terror on screen. It's a masterclass in how cinema can approximate the emotional landscape of what it is showing in us, the audience. To make us feel the thud of a slap, Vetrimaaran will have a shot of a jeep's door being shut, followed by a sharp cut to that slap. The suddenness of the cut, the timbre of both the metallic slam and the skinned slap side by side creates a moment of jerking violence. This is style used as substance to a point where unable, unwilling to distinguish between the two. Viduthalai, based on a Jeymohan short story, is cinema, pure and distilled. It sharply, smartly evokes what the characters are going through using cinematic language and the grammar of a shot. It is Vetrimaaran's finest work yet, taking the sophistication of Visaranai, the density of Adukalam and Vadachennai, and the masala grammar of Asuran and creating its own grammar of violence, one that isn't gratuitous but casual and crippling. Soori plays Kumaresan, a kind-hearted police officer capable of both seeing and fighting for goodness. He has been sent to the dense forested mountains as a driver. The officers are all recruited as part of a ghost hunt, similar to the Operation Green Hunt that the Chhattisgarh police officers carried to violently clamp down on Maoists.
We have decided to call this Operation Ghost Hunt.
The ghost hunt is trying to pin down Perumal, played by Vijay Sethupathi, the man behind Makkal Padai. The police looking for him don't even know how he looks. Only that he's called Vadiyar because he used to teach, and Ghost because he's just as slippery and elusive. The film's frame is Kumaresan narrating his life to his mother through a letter. The letter unfolds Kumaresan's gradual recognition of not just the violence of his uniform, but how easy it is to slip into it. When you're pinned against the wall, the choice is either to take a life or give yours up. Which life then is more valuable, more valid? Kumaresan falls in love with Tamararasi, played by Bhavani Sre, a girl from one of the nearby villages, and suddenly his beliefs in law and order, in love, in violence are all tested. The same flashback of a police station being plundered and bludgeoned by Perumal is narrated twice, the second twisting the first. This is part one of a two-part epic. The focus here, the journey here, is not that of Perumal but Kumaresan. Kumaresan isn't a hero as much as a righteous, wide-eyed spectator. When, in a moment of heroism, towards the end, he jumps across rooftops, we see how the tile crumbles under his weight, how they slip, how he stumbles, crouches. It's heroism that we can believe in, not necessarily aspire for. Because Vetrimaaran asks provocatively, what are the tragedies we must experience in order to become heroes? What kind of a broken world this is that needs a hero? This film, like Vetrimaaran's filmography, is entirely unsympathetic to the police. The police is a moral quicksand. Nothing worthy of kindness or tenderness survives its sludge. Gautam Vasudev Menon, who plays a higher-ranked officer, is a portrait of power, one that starts as empowering, endearing, polished, and ends as desperate, opportunistic, and violent. That he never raises his voice, never grins in villainy, never speaks in villainy, does not mean he isn't capable of being a villain. Such is the deadening, flattening tendency of the police force. So Kumaresan is eventually called by his number 1563 and not his name when he's being referred to. The terrorists, on the other hand, the terrorists really, are rebels fighting for justice, for Viduthalai, for freedom. They are what Arundhati Roy calls Gandhians with guns. In one moment, Perumal says that violence is not their language, that it is one they were forced to adopt. He's careful about the lives of the villagers. What about the train accident then that he orchestrated, killing and maiming ordinary people? This Vetrimaaran leaves for part 2. Unfussy about a scene lingering, Vetrimaaran will cut away from a moment before its impact is even felt, because the impact of it is not in its festering, but in its unrelentingness. That this violence will keep happening. There is no point mourning so forcefully for life that is so dispensable. To be fair, there is something unkempt and unpolished about his films too, something we're used to in the rushed releases of his films. The dubbing is hastily done, the color corrections keep shifting from dryness to wetness of color. Then there is the animated, rushed prologue that hurls you into his film as much as holds your hand into it. A dizzying rush of details, of context, of information, the dense scaffolding of a broken world that Vetrimaaran wants us to squeeze and squirm through. In the comment section, let me know what you thought of Viduthalai, what you thought of my review of Viduthalai. Don't forget to subscribe to Reviews and More and watch more of our reviews.